Well, I guess where it started, it came from my parents. My dad was a musician, and he recognized early on as a toddler that I had very good pitch, and very lucky that he played amazing music in the house, like Stevie Wonder, like all the greats. Bill Withers, Stevie Wonder, Sade. Like, I just grew up with such amazing music, and he recognized when I would sing, and I would sing a lot as a toddler. So yeah, that I had that pitch. And then it continued on, and I would be singing in my bedroom with the hairbrush, and of course all the greats of that era and amazing voices like Mariah and Whitney I would listen to and want to emulate and just kind of train my vocals. And then in high school, my friend really encouraged me to enter the singing contest, and it's something that I was very painfully shy, actually. So I always had that desire and would see myself singing on stage, but to get to that next step, it was really what's the word? Anxiety inducing and stage fright and all that. So I did the contest and I got to the finals, and then word got around to my music teacher. I played saxophone. He's kind of like the big wig in town in Montreal where I grew up. He told me to stay after class. He wanted me to sing for him. So I sang for him, and he got all the kind of teachers to come in and listen. And he said, "That's it, you're singing year end for the big concert." And it was a bit nerve-wracking, but I'm so glad he made me do that. And he gave me a couple of little pointers on how to walk on stage and address the audience a little bit. And I just went with it. And I got a fantastic reception from family, friends, and they finally knew that I could sing. And it was kind of starting to process, like the inner world and the outer world was kind of coming together. And from then, that's kind of how it all started. I performed a little bit in Montreal with some different bands. I actually auditioned to be in a girl group. We had some radio play, and we had some opportunities to play for Sony Music Canada. We did perform on television. It was like my big, exciting experience performing on Much Music. From there, the band broke up because the Sony thing didn't happen. Everybody went their separate ways, and I didn't know what to do. So I was kind of depressed and not sure if I wanted to continue in music, but the more I suppressed it, the more it kind of came back and kept haunting me in the back of my mind. So I did get into some bands in town and started performing. And then I auditioned to be on Canadian Idol, and didn't get to the level I wanted to, but through that, I made a connection that they were looking for a backup singer to go tour in Europe. So I did some singing and backup as a backup singer. I had decided before I got the contract, that I wanted to actually really pursue it and really kind of get into the nuts and bolts of performing. So I auditioned for a performing arts school in BC. That's kind of what brought me from Montreal to BC. And I left the tour at the end, and I was able to pay for school thanks to the tour. I just studied musical theater, dance, acting, singing, of course, and it just kind of gave me that background and foundation, I should say, the foundation for performing. We were taught in school, it's really important. There's a few things. When you get on stage, the stage is no place to hide. You can't hide on stage. So take that however it means, but also take your space, because a lot of people want to kind of make themselves smaller. It's important to really take your space when it comes to breathing as well. As a singer, you're expanding your rib cage. Really take your space. We would have to do these exercises on stage and come out and recite Shakespeare or some type of monologue, and she'd say bigger, bigger. And so that was a really big turning point in myself and a lot of the students on really, taking your space when it comes to whether it's on stage or real life. I think it's such great practical lessons and tips for anybody. I know that I prepare myself mentally, I do a little internal work before I go on stage, and I make an intention for myself and the audience. How do I want the audience to feel? because I think it's important when we're too on our heads about like, how do I look? How do I sound? How it takes us out of the performance and really why you're there, and this communication and this energy exchange. I just want to make sure that I enjoy myself. Everybody enjoys ourselves. I think that's really what it's about, because otherwise what's the point? I think it should be fun. It should be like feeds your soul in those good feelings. I'm a bit of a late bloomer when it comes to showcasing myself as a solo artist, which is okay. I feel like I've needed to have all these different experiences with bands to feel like that support, to be ready to stand on my own 2 feet. And with that, during the pandemic, of course, everybody was isolating and I wasn't able to perform with my band. And finally, myself and my partner, Carl, we decided that this is time. This is the time now. And we met up with somebody who has their own little studio in the shoe shop area. And we had gone on a little couples trip, and he happened to have this like gear, and we started writing basically. And we decided as a trio, let's just sit here and incubate some music. And I've never had that experience before, where the pressure is off, the judgments are off. That really was instrumental in this whole project getting started. And we ended up writing, I don't know, like 24 songs and creating some demos. It's time now to get those demos at the level that needs to be, so that it could be competitive in our industry, I guess. Now I'm working with different producers actually, to get that sound and like create that, the vibe, the sound of the project. This for me is like, on my deathbed, I would regret not doing this, or, part of my bucket list. Always in the back of my mind, I need I just see that vinyl with my name on it or my face on it or whatever. Like, it had to be done. And so this is the time, and yeah, looking forward to it.